Hello, today we're going to be talking all about variables and expressions. We have a few vocabulary words that we need to get into before we get into some examples. Our first vocabulary word is the word expression. An expression is a mathematical phrase that contains operations, numbers, and/or variables. In an expression, okay, so 2 stars here is very important, does not have an equal sign. Okay, so if it has an equal sign, that is called an equation, not an expression. A variable is a letter that represents a value that can change. So your variable is a letter that represents a value that can change, and it can be anything. There are 2 types of expressions. The first type is called a numerical expression. And a numerical expression only contains numbers. Okay, so this does not contain variables. Next, we have a variable expression. And you guessed it, variable expressions contains 1 or more variables. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of numerical expressions and variable expressions. So in our numerical expression box, I'm going to give you a few examples. So this can be 3 plus 2, or 4 times 5, or 27 minus 18, or 3 divided by 4, or 3/4. In a variable expression, you can have x divided by 7, and x can be anything, right? It can represent a value that can change. X plus 2, again, x can be anything. P minus r, 4 times n. So anytime you have a variable, it can represent a value that can change. Now, when we're writing variable expressions, this is going to be your little cheat sheet. We're going to talk about a bunch of keywords that you can use to help you remember what they mean. So our first keyword, let's use a different color. We have total. Okay, so anytime you see the word total, that means to add. Also, more than. That means to add. And increased by. This all means to add. Next, we have the word difference. Difference means to subtract. Or fewer than also means to subtract. Less than means to subtract. And then decreased by means to subtract. Next, we have product. And this means to multiply. Now there's three ways you can show multiplication. You have your x, you have a dot, or you have parentheses. Okay, then we have times, good old times. And again, you can show it using the x, a dot, or parentheses. And then last we have quotient. Quotient means divide. And again, there are several ways, like this, fraction bar, or a slash. And then you have the word also divided by. Three ways to show division. This is a fraction bar, not a subtraction symbol. Okay, so let's write some variable expressions given the word phrase. 9 more than a number y. Okay, so I have 9, so I'm going to write 9 more than, I'm going to find it up here. Oh, it means plus a number y. So I'm going to include y since it's telling me what variable to use. 4 less than a number n. So I know I'm going to have less than, which is subtract. 4 has to be less than, so it has to be in the back, and then n is going to be in the front. In this third example, it looks like a biggie. So 5 times the quantity 4 plus a number c. Okay, so I have 5 times, I know I have 5 times, and then the quantity of 4 plus a number c. Since I'm talking about this whole quantity, I'm going to put this in parentheses, and it's going to be 4 plus c. There you go. Okay, substitution property. If two quantities are equal, then one quantity can be replaced by the other in a mathematical expression. In a math expression. And I want you to remember, plug it in, plug it in. Okay, so what does that mean? We're going to take our variables and we're going to plug in their values into our expression. Okay, so in this example, we have 6m minus 2k. So instead of, remember, anytime you have a number next to a variable, it means to multiply. So I have 6, I'm going to multiply it by m. But what is m? It's 7. So I'm going to plug in 7. So it's going to be 6 times 7 minus 2 times k. But what is k? 2. So instead of multiplying by k, I'm going to multiply by 2. And then now I'm going to multiply this and multiply this. So 6 times 7 is 42. Bring down my subtraction. 2 times 2 is 4. And then now, what's 42 minus 4? 38. Okay, so now we have a few more examples. So I have 3a minus 5, and then a equals 10. So again, I'm going to just plug in. So 3, instead of a, I'm going to multiply by 10 because that's what a is. And then subtract 5 in the back. So 3 times 10 is 30. And then minus 5, that's going to equal 25. Okay, next I have 6y divided by 2, y equals 2. Okay, so I have 6 times y, but instead of timesing y, I'm going to multiply by 2 because that's what y is. And then I'm going to divide by 2. So now we're going to multiply first. So I have 12, and then I can divide by 2, which is going to get me 6. And then last, so I have a bunch of letters here. I have an x, y, and a z. So I'm just going to plug it in. So I have 2 times x equals 4. So instead of timesing by x, I'm going to times it by 4 plus 3 times y, but y equals 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3 and then plus 4 times z, and z is going to equal 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2. So now I can simplify. So I'm going to multiply, multiply, multiply. So I have an 8, a 9, and an 8. And then I'm going to just simply bring down my addition. Accidentally hit that button there. Sorry about that. And then now I'm just going to add across 8 plus 9 plus 8. And that's going to equal 25. And there you have it.